Hi there, this is Lori. I thought it'd be fun today if I show you how to create your own little 9x6 little mini album using some of the products that I carry in my Artfire store. I carry the 10 Second Studios Verde Copper Paint along with the Verde Patina. I also carry the copper sheets or copper rolls. This is real copper. This can be molded, formed just in just about any way you'd like to use it. It's really easy to run through your embossers. It's easy to cut with scissors, use through your punches. And I also carry the binder clip that we're using in this project. And these are similar to the Tim Holtz ones, but they work real well to make your own little mini album here. I also carry the wire heart that you'll see in this project. And this one has the patina, and it rusted really nicely too. So let me show you here what we did. In the second video, you're going to see how to actually create the album itself. I may not be able to have enough time to show it in this video. But you can see it's nice and wide. It's 1.5 inches wide. You'll be able to get lots of pages in there. I also did a little look here to the binding. This is my Martha Stewart punch, the one that has the butterflies, and then I coated them with the copper paint and then the patina, then glued them onto the binding of the book. I just thought that would be an interesting way to add some texture to the end of your book. Alrighty, so what I thought would be fun is so that you can see how the copper paint and the patina react on things, is to go around your room and collect different objects so that you could get a really interesting look to the front of your book and see how it reacts on stuff, so you could see what things you want to use it on. I grabbed some lace. All of these pieces here have already gone through the entire process, and I'm going to explain to you how to do that. So you want to grab some lace. This is some corrugated cardboard. I thought that would add some nice texture and interest to the back of the book. You want to grab some cardstock pieces. You want to grab some wood just to see how that reacts. Your paper flowers, your paper leaves work really nice. Chipboard pieces. Here's some metal key, some more wooden pieces. You want to get some things that will create some interest with some 3D look, like the little bobbin here, the little block. Things that are raised a little bit will add a lot of interest to the front of it. Plastic. This was a little plastic foot. I have no idea where I got it from, but you want to grab some plastic and try that. This was a plastic button. I wanted to see how it react on it. I also picked up some real copper wire in the jewelry section. Being that it is real copper, you don't have to paint it first to get the reaction from the patina. Your metal pieces will rust. This pin nib here is a real pin nib, and you can see how the patina actually rusted it. The same with your binder clip. You're going to get some rust effect on the binder clip. Just some of your different metals will react that way, which I think creates a lot of interest. You want to pick up something in ceramic. This is one of the little Tim Holtz ideology pieces, the little small statue. You can use just about any kind of little resin pieces. Let's see, what else did I get in here? The little pieces I'm going to use for the corners. They're kind of a rubbery material. I don't know how else to explain it. They're just a peel and stick little rubbery piece, but I thought that would make an interesting corner. And so we're going to do that with our corner. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take your copper paint, you're going to shake it up really well, because you want to mix those metal pieces in with your paint. It is a real metal-based paint, and so you want to shake that up really good. Pour it in your palette. Get some brushes. I use a large brush and a smaller brush just to get into some of the different places on the pieces. You want to give everything one coat at least of the copper paint. Some things like the binder clip are shiny, slick surface. Also, like this little Tim Holtz piece was very shiny. Let's see what else was. The keys were very shiny. Things like that sometimes take more than one coat. And what they're going to do is the first coat will kind of bead up on you, and that's okay. You just want to go ahead and get as much of it on there as you can. Set it aside. Let it dry for about 10 minutes. Well, I go ahead and just work on everything else as that's drying. Then you're might go back over and have to put one more coat on, let that dry. Sometimes you have to put even 3 coats on something as shiny as this to get the copper paint to cover, but it usually doesn't take more than 3 at the most, but most things just cover in 1. So after you have everything covered at least once with your copper paint, then you're going to take your patina, which comes like this in the 4-ounce container, and you may spray it on. You can add a spray cap to it. If you spray it on, you're going to get a more bubbled, marbled effect to your project. But the thing is, it's really hard to spray just individual little areas. I like to have more of the copper show on an object, so I paint it on so that I can get it exactly where I want it. But you can go back in and you can spray so that I'm not contaminating my original bottle, because when you're dipping, you're going over the wet paint. It kind of contaminates it a little bit. So I go ahead and I put it in a clear glass container to dip my brush in, and just use one brush just for the patina and one for the copper paint. So what you're going to do is, after everything is completely dry, you're going to get your patina ready, and you're going to also put some more copper paint back in your palette. Now the patina actually works, has a better reaction on wet paint. So that's why we're going to go back over and add some more copper paint in areas. It will still have a reaction on the other areas that are already dried, but the best reaction you're going to get is where it's on wet copper paint. So you're going to take an object and you're going to go in with your with your copper paint, and you would go back in and say, this is where I want the patina to show up. And so I'm going to go in and streak it with the copper paint. So now your copper paint is wet. Then I'm going to get my patina and dip that in my patina. And while the copper paint is still wet, go in and put that patina right over that copper paint. Now, I always put together a box with paper towels in the bottom of it so that I can transfer this object over into the box to dry. You want to let that sit 12 to 24 hours to get that reaction. Now in nature, if you have like a copper urn or a copper pot or some copper bowl or something, and you set that outside to the elements, it will eventually turn this kind of bluish green color, which they call it the patina of it. And that's what this copper based paint and the patina do. They simulate that exact reaction. So you want to think about where you want the patina and the copper paint to be before you finish. So you take each piece, you get the patina on it. You won't see it right away. You won't see the reaction. You're just going to look like your copper paint's even wetter. And you're going to set it over in the box. About 15 to 20 minutes later, you're actually going to get to see a little bit of the reaction start coming up, and it'll be a really bright, bright green. And it'll slowly, within the 12 to 24 hours, turn into this bluish green that you want to achieve at the end here. The next thing I do, okay, so this is all set for 24 hours and it's dry. It's gone as far as the patina is going to react on it. And I'm going to go back in, and sometimes I like to take my brush and a little bit of the copper paint, and I get my brush loaded up and kind of brush off some of it on a paper towel so you don't get too much. And I'll go back over and highlight. Let's see if I can get that in there. I will highlight the raised edges of an object, because like that one had just way too much of the patina, and it just made it look all bluish green, and I really wanted the areas on the top there to stand out. So you can just go back over and add a little bit of the copper paint to refresh an area. Get the other one here, show you the difference. See how this one's completely completely covered in the patina. And then here I've gone back in and added a little bit of the copper paint to give it just a little bit of interest in there. And you can go in and do that with any of the pieces that you look at and go, wow, that's just way too much. Something that has texture to it, like this has a little bit of texture to it. If you go back in with that copper paint and kind of brush over it, you know, without putting too much on your brush, you can kind of bring back up those areas that were, can you see that? Makes it look more weathered. I like that look. Kind of a weathered look. And so I'm going to go back in and touch up areas on each of the objects and give them a few minutes to dry before I'm going to go ahead and glue them into place. The bottle cap right here, I actually just did the rim of it, and it's kind of yucky looking in the middle, because what I did with it here, you can see here, oh, my sunlight's coming in. Oh, we got sunlight. Can you see here? I've added a little image that has the gem over the top of it. And this is XOXO. Here's one of the little copper hearts. I went ahead and just punched that out, used the end of my brush to give it some texture, and left it that way. I wanted it to kind of stand out. Things like the letters right here on this did not show as well, and so I had gone back over with my copper paint and added just a little bit more right there in the center to bring out the forever. I added some seam binding. You could add more seam binding in there. You could add some ribbons in there. There you can see the roses. That's just your regular paper roses. I went in and really coated with my copper paint, and then just edges I did the patina. You can see a lot of dimension in here. And I like my design to kind of flow from small to large down here towards the title. And so that's what I'm going to show you next, how I kind of figured out a placement for that. So I went ahead and took the objects, and you want to start with your background pieces, your larger pieces first. So right here I went ahead, and this is a piece I've got down near the binding. I want this down near the bottom, so I'm going to place that there. Pick out my next largest piece, which happens to be the gear right here. See, I want to make sure that the edge of the heart shows out here. So what I do is I go ahead and kind of put down everything about where I think it's going to look nice, rearrange it, starting with a little bit more of my larger pieces in here. And so I go in and I actually just start dropping them all in, kind of getting a look that I want to get out of it. You want to put in your corner pieces. And I take a picture of it, and then I start taking it all back off and gluing it back on. And you don't always get it exactly like you did the very first time, but if you're a little leery and just dropping these all in place, then go ahead and place them where you think you'd like them. Test it out. Look at it, say, that looks okay, that doesn't look okay, and fix it up. So what you do is you just keep picking up pieces. You're doing your larger pieces to your smaller pieces. Imagine my roses right here. I'm going to get my leaves in behind them. Let's see here. We want starting to get some of the other pieces in here. But if you kind of form a shape like this with it and just start dropping them in, you will see that you're starting to achieve that interesting look that you were trying to go for. The 3D objects, you want to make sure that you're putting those in last. You just kind of want to fill in all the spaces. You're making kind of a collage out of it. And so that's what I do. I just go in and I kind of fill in my spaces, add all my little interesting objects. These little pearls, actually they're just old beads, but you could use some little old pearls. Those were fun. A little copper heart. Let's see. And I'm starting to get more of my larger pieces, so we're going to go ahead and put those in on top of other objects. For my butterfly, I cut off the little antennas, and I placed the pin nib in there for the body. Kind of whimsical. And I made sure that I painted the back part of the wings and then folded this up, so you get a little piece of 3D look in there. You want to add a lot of interest in there. So then right here would be where my roses would go. Just another piece in here. For the little statue and the key, I took some of my copper wire and kind of tied him up and then put the key on there. I just thought that was kind of fun and playful. So there you go. That's all you have to do is just go ahead and just kind of drop them in, pick them up, kind of rearrange them to what looks pleasing to you. Take a picture of it, pick them back up, and start gluing them on your album. Now I used 3-in-1 glue to glue everything down. As you can see, everything is in place. I really like 3-in-1. I know I use it, I tell you that every time I make a project, but I don't have things falling off after I put it on. Even this handle is just put on with 3-in-1. So I think it really holds things down nicely. I hope that you try out this product and do your own project and let me know, because I would love to see what you've come up with. I love seeing what everybody else does with this. I'm still playing around and learning about it and inventing new things to do with it. Thank you very much for sharing your time and your day again with me. Check out the link down below for my Artfire store so you can see how to purchase some of this yourself. Thank you. Bye.